Hello, everybody. What is up? This is Kirsten here. Welcome back to the Balanced Vibes podcast. Today, we're going to talk about why being more rested and chill out more in general will actually give you better results. If your goal is whether it is muscle building or fat loss, then you will get better results actually if you are able to get yourself into this more chilled out, relaxed state more often. So before we start talking about this, I want to remind you that Fit and Fuel Facebook group is the place where you want to be. If you have one of these goals, if you want to get fitter, and if you want to get leaner, if you want to look more athletic and fit, and you don't want to do diets, because this is not what I am about at all. So if you have this goal, if you want all of these things, and you're looking for that right place where you can get all the information, and you can also get the support that you need, then make sure that you join this group. Again, it's called Fit and Fueled, and I'm doing a lot of lives there, a lot of giveaways there. Just recently, as you know, if you listened to it last week, you know that I gave away 3 months of free coaching to one person. So every now and then I do really fun stuff there. So make sure that you join this group if you haven't done it yet. Now, today's topic, like I said, is do you need to relax more to get better results? So to understand what I'm going to talk about, first we have to know what is our autonomic nervous system and how it works. So basically, our autonomic nervous system has two sides. They are called the parasympathetic and then sympathetic nervous system. And they are kind of the opposites of each other. And being in one of them serves us better than being in the other one of them if we have that fat loss and or a muscle building goal. So basically, parasympathetic side of your autonomic system, nervous system, is the side where we're feeling rested and relaxed. So it's known as the rest and digest mode. And this is where we just feel more relaxed. Our muscles are kind of loose. Our mind is not racing, and we are not, in this panic mode, or we're not in this go, 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 do everything, put more things into your list, check everything off your list mode. This is the rest and relax state. You can think about it this way. You're lying on a couch or you're lying somewhere on the beach and you're feeling really relaxed and you don't have big worries going on. So when you are in this state, of course, every system in your body is more settled too, right? You don't have high cortisol rushing through your veins. You don't have high adrenaline state all the time. You're feeling really calm and relaxed. And of course, this is the state where healing happens too, where better digestion happens as well. So this is why it's called the rest and digest mode. So if you know, I'm actually sure that you know that in order to digest well, our body needs to be relaxed. So that's why, for example, when you are eating standing up in a rush or eating stuff in a car just to get something into your system real quick, this is not really where your body is digesting your food in the best possible way, because you are not in this parasympathetic mode at all. Maybe you're dealing with some crazy traffic, or you're working while you're eating, then this definitely puts you in the opposite side, which is the sympathetic system. And this is not where good digestion can happen. So honestly, one of the things, if you are struggling with poor digestion, is to check how you are eating. Are you getting yourself into this rest and digest mode? Because the name already says that this is where the better digestion happens. And of course, so much starts from our digestion. And also when it comes to your muscle building ability, for example, you work out hard at the gym, you do workouts, you never miss one. But if you don't take yourself into the state of parasympathetic too often, then the healing is going to be really difficult. And at the same time, we of course know that healing, when we're resting, this is where the muscle gains are actually made, right? Of course, you put in all the hard work at the gym, but what happens afterwards? This is also really important to understand. Now, if we can get ourselves into this parasympathetic mode where we are resting and chilling and allowing our bodies to just be instead of pushing it constantly, this is where your muscle growth can really happen. Now, let's talk about why fat loss is easier when we put ourselves in the parasympathetic mode more often. Well, what we know is that if we want to lose body fat, then it can happen when the body feels safe. But can it feel safe if we are always on the go? If we have this high level of stress all the time? If we are either physically or mentally super maxed out all the time? This does not send your brain or your body the signal of safety. And this is why you are making your fat loss so much harder. So there are so many reasons why you should get yourself more into this parasympathetic mode versus being in a sympathetic, which we're going to talk about next. And of course, there are ways to get yourself into this parasympathetic more often. We're going to cover that as well. But understand that parasympathetic is actually meant to be the side of your autonomic nervous system where you're supposed to be a little bit more often. This is more of your natural state of being. Our natural state of being is not always on high alert, hyper vigilant, doing 17 things at once, worrying about everything. This is not actually our natural way of being. It shouldn't be. It is common, but it's actually not normal. So this is now our next topic, sympathetic nervous system. So this is the next one. And basically, this is the exact opposite of the parasympathetic, right? So parasympathetic was rest, relax, digest, chill, be cool, right? Now with the sympathetic, it's the opposite. This is where we are always on the go. We're doing a ton of things all the time. We're feeling bad for sitting down. We're feeling bad and lazy for resting, right? We have this strong association. I feel like in our culture where sitting down doing nothing is a bad idea, right? And we start associating that with, I'm not a good enough person. We also say, lazy people are bad people, right? Like, nobody wants to be labeled lazy, but actually being lazy is sometimes really good for you. But if you're not able to do that, then you are always on the go. You probably have long lists of things that need to be done all the time. And if you're not checking everything off that list, then you feel mad at yourself, right? There's the negative self-talk that comes in. How come I didn't accomplish this? How come I didn't accomplish that? And as if this is not enough, we still keep adding things to this list. Now, this is the mental side of things. Maybe there's also a lot of people pleasing involved. And I unfortunately know that part really well myself as well. So always trying to do a lot of things for everybody else too, putting them first, making sure that, God forbid, you hurt somebody's feeling by saying no or something like that. We take things really personally. So this is, the emotional and mental side of things. And this can absolutely activate your sympathetic nervous system. I remember that maybe about a year ago, a little bit more, I had a client who told me that her watch started showing her like crazy heart rate numbers. And she said, I wasn't even doing anything physical. Like, why did my watch show me crazy stuff? And then I asked her, what went through your mind? Where was your mental state at the moment when it happened? And she said, I was really concerned about my job situation. I think she was changing jobs and she was worried, how is she going to do? How are things going to go? And that can, of course, activate, your sympathetic nervous system. Now your heart rate is up. You are breathing faster and your body thinks that you are in danger. And you can very well cause this state with your thoughts alone. And again, something that I am personally very familiar with as well. So we really have to watch that and kind of see when we are overthinking, over worrying, and just telling ourselves, time out. I can't do this anymore. I have to relax. Now, obviously, there are physical things too that we are doing that constantly put us in this sympathetic side of your autonomic nervous system. And these things are doing too many workouts, not resting enough, and not eating enough, and cutting out all the carbohydrates and cutting the calories too low. All this also puts you in this high alert state. Now, some of the other things you may have all the time, like loud music in the house, or fights, or TV and music and something else playing at the same time. A lot of lights, things like that. Some people are especially sensitive to that type of stuff, and that puts them into this sympathetic very, very easily. So you have to become aware of the physical as well as mental and emotional causes of, the maybe the events that put you in this sympathetic side of things, because you are not meant to be there all the time. And we talked about how it really slows down your physical results because your body is not able to probably lose body fat as much as you want to if it doesn't have the sense of safety. But also muscle building obviously is harder because you just don't recover, but also you just don't feel very well when you are in this constantly activated sympathetic state all the time. So what can you then do to take yourself out of that chronic sympathetic state and start spending a little bit more time in the parasympathetic? And you can do very simple things, but it does take awareness. It does take paying attention to where you are right now, what's happening inside your body, what's happening inside your mind. This is really the first step, because if you're not able to pinpoint that, then how are you ever going to change that? So think about it. Maybe when you sit down to work and you open your emails, or you open, maybe your text messages or whatever, then you see something that is pissing you off a little bit, or you don't like, or you feel like, somebody said something they shouldn't have or whatever. And then you just start feeling how your heart rate goes up, how you're getting a little bit anxious, how you're getting a little bit angry. And of course, these are all normal sensations, and that's okay. But notice if there are too many things in your life, too many situations, occasions where that occurs. Are you constantly in this state? Because if you are, then you have to figure out a way to respond better or eliminate some of the sources of stress. Of course, we cannot eliminate all the sources of stress. This is unrealistic. And there's no place in our life where there's no stress at all. But we can eliminate some of the things. For example, if you have people in your life who are causing you to be in the state all the time, or maybe you are just doing some things yourself, like I said, putting too many things on your list. I have to do this, that, and the third thing. You're trying to be everything for everybody all the time. This is your responsibility, and you have to kind of get rid of some of these things. And also, like I said, we can't get rid of all of these things. Sometimes we just have to get a little bit more resilient and get stronger. And honestly, it happens when we're able to zoom out of it. So, for example, if somebody says something that you don't like, you're going to have your emotion, but you can zoom out and try to look at the situation from high above and be like, this really is not such a big deal. I'm just making it to be like a huge deal. I'm letting it, to cause this like higher elevated state of stress, and I'm getting all kinds of pissed off, and I'm going to talk to everybody about this and like repeat and repeat and repeat. And then you zoom out, you're like, you know what? It's actually not even worth it. It's not actually worth it. And I remember this from, earlier days of my online business too, when somebody would, for example, leave like some kind of comment or whatever it was. At first, it was a big, tragedy, right? Oh my goodness, how dare they? I'm putting myself out here and they say like this and all that. And then, but when I zoomed out, I was like, you know what? It's actually, I'm doing a really brave thing here to talk about very openly about sometimes pretty personal things. And I'm doing my best also to help people. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm not doing anything wrong. So this is one anonymous person on the internet who is just, sharing their thoughts. Is it really worth it for me to get all sorts of pissed off and angry? Am I just spending too much of my energy on this? Why am I letting this happen? So this way of thinking, like zooming out and looking at this situation from a perspective, can actually be really helpful. And you may realize that it's not worth it. I'm not gonna let this bother me. And the more you practice, the better the better you actually get. Now, some other things that you can do, and I'm going to just give you an example from my morning. For example, this morning, so I woke up and I have a pretty intense week actually this week, and I already was thinking all the things that I have to do today. I'm going to accomplish just what I describe you. I'm telling you, I'm the same person. So I describe you. I have this and that on my list. I have to get the podcast done, and I have to talk to this and that person. Make sure all my comments get responded, and a couple of bigger things too. And I want to make it to the gym, and it's like. You know what? I'm feeling how my heart rate is going up. I'm feeling how my muscles are more tense. I can literally feel like my low back is tight, like things are all tight and tense. So I'm gonna just take a time off and listen to something really calming. So I put on like a meditation on YouTube that I like, and it was just like a full body relaxation, full mind relaxation, little like 9-minute thing. And just follow that and stay present in the moment as you're listening to it. And that's what I did. and you just feel how the body just starts to drop. You notice that your heart rate goes down. You're not so anxious and nervous, and just really relaxing. And you're gonna start a lot better. And of course, there's so many apps that you can use. Like I said, YouTube is one of them. I like to use Insight Timer. So yesterday I did like a yoga nidra session from there, and within 5 minutes I was actually asleep. So I got like a nice 20-minute nap in the afternoon. But again, this was a perfect opportunity to take myself out of that chronically elevated, like sympathetic state and put myself into this parasympathetic, which is so much healthier for us. And as you probably know too, the sympathetic is normal. It has to happen. It's very useful and very helpful if you are, let's say, I don't know, you get lost in a forest. You go into the forest for a walk and you're like, holy crap, I don't know where I am. And there's a bear, and holy crap, what am I gonna do now? Now, this is where sympathetic will get activated. And thank God it gets activated, because otherwise we would get in by the bear, right? So now when you're like, okay, I gotta run, and let's say that you're faster than the bear was, and then you get away from it, then you find your car and everything's good, right? So of course you need this activation. The problem is that when this activation becomes chronic, which it does for many of us, especially if you tend to be a little bit more like more sensitive person, then this system gets activated, and you just need more time, more constant check-in with you, not in an obsessive way, but still like paying attention. Hey, where's my shoulders? How's my back feeling? Is my heart rate going up? Am I just doing 17 million different things at once? And if you find that you're doing this, then it's literally like time off. Right? We're not doing this. We're going to take a mindful moment to relax, to go sit in the sun and do freaking nothing for a little while. And, coming back to the beginning of this podcast, if you have a physique change goal and you want to make your body do something, you want to make your body to build more, grow more muscle, you want to make your body let go of some body fat, it is extremely useful that you every now and then check in with yourself and bring yourself very intentionally bring yourself into the state of parasympathetic, where you're more rested and relaxed. You're sending your brain and your body the signal that we're healing, we're feeling good, our digestion can happen naturally, nothing is urgent, nothing is burning, we're just relaxing. So this is the message that I have for you today. I hope this was helpful. Let me know it was. Leave me a comment and invite your friends and family to listen to this podcast as well if you have found it helpful. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.